It's AFEX time now. Welcome. And we head straight to the market summary. We can tell you that in the last trading week, there was mixed performances across key indicators. Turnover was down more than 10%, 10.05%, from 3.98 to 3.58 and then the volume of contracts also traded went down 12.63%. There was an increase, however, in the number of deals traded by more than 70%, 70.45%, closing at 150. That's for deals. The AFEX commodity index fell 0.33%, closing the week at 480.49 index points. AFEX export index performed negatively. That was also down 229.85 points from 230.21. The volume of contracts traded, and we saw that there was increase in volume across maize alone. Price across exports commodities. Let's look at the prices now. Sesame, ginger, and wheat maintained at 1,247.57, 923 naira 82 kobo and 380 naira respectively. Other commodities witnessed a decline, with soybean falling by 5.95%, closing at 319 naira 85 kobo. We see sorghum next also falling by 4.30%. Closing at 262 naira 21 kobo. Cocoa also fell by 0.77%, closing at 2,058 naira 66 kobo. Cashew nut fell by 0.21% and closed at 612 naira 66 kobo. Paddy rice fell also 0.16% to close at 339 naira 43 kobo. Across grain commodities, however, maize rose again by 0.85% and closed at 249 naira 21 kobo, and all of this is for a kilogram. It's still AFEX time, and we're speaking with Mr. Adetola Tolu Owolabi, the National Sales Manager, joining us from our Mrs. From our Abuja studio. Adetola Tolu Owolabi joining us from... Good morning, Mrs. Owolabi. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Sorry about that, Mr. I just have to get it right. Mrs. Adetola Tolu Owolabi.
No worries. Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
Yeah, so we're speaking African agriculture this morning, as it requires a combination of sustainable, innovative tools and also a focus on inclusive markets to thrive. And one of such innovative funding tools which AFEX has discovered is the Disbursement, which provides farmers with upfront access to essential inputs. We do know that AFEX is very interested in this and has been doing a whole lot. But let's find out from you, Mr. Owolabi. Are these input loans tailored to meet each farmer? Because how do you ensure that the loan have the specific requirements that a farmer needs? Because one need in most cases is different from what another needs.
Good morning again, and thank you very much for having me. So research and experience has shown the volume required per crop, per hectare, that is required for application during crop production. Now, every input given or input package and service is given per hectare, per commodity, or rather per crop grown, and per hectare. On average, for instance, you would the type of agricultural input or fertilizer you would apply to soybean is completely different from what you would apply to maize. The volume also is quite different. And so, yes, each commodity, each agricultural input package and service is directly tailored to the crop type and to the number of hectares each farmer or each farmer cluster plans to produce.
And you have discovered, I guess, in your research, how this disbursement empowers farmers and promotes sustainability in the space? Can you hear me, Mr. Olabi?
I'm sorry, I lost you for a few seconds there.
Okay, I was asking,
again.
Yeah, in your research that you have discovered how this imputes disbursement, empowers farmers, and more importantly, promotes sustainability, you know, when it comes to agriculture.
I lost you again.
Wow, I wonder what's going on. But can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I was asking how this contributes to especially sustainability in the agriculture sector.
Thank you. So on average, the smallholder farmer has between 0.3 to 0.7 hectares. Now that is barely enough, or the yield of that is barely enough to feed he and his family. And so there's not so much in excess that is profitable enough for him to take care of other immediate needs or external needs for his family. But when you provide cultural inputs and services, emphasis on services as well, what you do is empower and support the smallholder farmer to also cultivate a little above what he can, in as much as he has the capacity for it. And by capacity, I mean land. By providing the inputs which run across seed, quality seed, fertilizer, extension services, you know, which helps them agronomically produce well, you are increasing their yield, and by increasing their yield, you're increasing their profitability. Once their profitability is increased, their livelihood also gets better and it gets increased. But most importantly, it also provides the economy adequate commodity, right? So there is increased production of commodity that can then satisfy the needs of Nigerians, can satisfy the needs of the processors, will help reduce importation into the country. And, you know, as we grow that and it grows and productivity increases and the number of farmers who get access to these increases, you then have, you know, increased commodity availability within the nation, and this increases sustainability both for the farmer, the processors, and of course the nation as a whole.
Yeah, well, food security and employment, those are very good outputs from there. So, but there's also the risk of non-repayment or mismanagement of these loans. How do you handle that to ensure that, you know, your loans get repaid?
So for every farming, for every farm cultivation, there are a few key requirements. You know, from your land selection, making sure that your farmers pick good lands in the great places, down to the quality of inputs, you know, distributed to them timely, because I mean, of what value is giving someone input if he doesn't have it right on time and accessible enough for him at the right time. And of course, then there's also what we call the field extension officers. Now, these people are solely responsible for supporting on the field, almost like hand-holding the farmer, to support him with all the instructions required, translating the environmental conditions or climatic conditions by NIMET and the other guys, to effectively help them cultivate their crops effectively. Now, if you follow all of these processes, you would have reduced your risk of failure, you know, pretty much by almost 90%. But what is important also is that the farmers come in cluster groups, and this helps for accountability, right? Making sure that there's somebody on the other end to support you with experience, to support you with knowledge, just to make sure that you're able to produce like you should and you're able to get profitable. But also to note is that AFEX also provides a platform for the farmer to be able to sell their commodities at the right prices. There's no benefit to a farmer who has gone through the entire agronomic process, apply the quality inputs timely, and produces great yield, but then does not have value for it when he sells it off. And AFEX comes in here to support that farmer, you know, and not just AFEX, I mean, most of the agricultural space right now provides that avenue for the farmer to then be able to sell this commodity at the right price, making him profitable enough so that he's able to repay his loan, but then also have more than enough to take care of himself. Because, I mean, truth is, if you cannot even, you know, sell off, how do you repay? If you don't have trust enough in the system to ensure that it values your output, then repayment becomes a challenge. But if all of these are in place and is the expectation, and AFEX does it today, then you have great yield, you have good markets. You know, most importantly, you have storage facilities. AFEX has about 100+ storage facilities across the nation today that is able to help, you know, store these commodities for the farmers at, you know, specific times until they're comfortable enough to sell or they think it's profitable enough to sell. And, you know, when you have all of this in place, you would have managed to a large extent any repayment issue or mismanagement issue. And don't forget that I had mentioned earlier that the agricultural inputs and services are given per hectare, right? So you're giving exactly what you need to be able to be very productive. And so, of course, there's really little or no risk for mismanagement in this scenario, plus the support that the FEOs, field extension officers, provide for you that helps you to manage all of this. All of this just helps to manage mismanagement and also helps to prevent non-repayment.
Well, sounds like a sure winning plan, this input disbursement program by AFEX, and we really wish you the best. And of course, feeding the nation, getting the farmers profitable is also profit for the country. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Adetola Owolabi, National Sales Manager with AFEX.
Thank you very much. And it's Miss Tolu, not Mrs., but thank you.
There we go again. All right, thank you so much, Miss Tolu Adetola Owolabi. Thank you so much. Now let's take a breather. We're back with the markets.